Look, a cooling bed isn't a magic shield against heat stroke, but having the wrong bed can actually trap your dog's body heat and make an already miserable hot day so much worse. So today, we're cutting straight to the facts and looking directly at the 5 best cooling dog beds for hot climates. We've got them ranked from the most limited option all the way up to our clear overall winner. And hey, the one thing you need to know right now, the winner is absolutely not the bed that feels the coldest during the first 5 minutes. Honestly, that's a total trap. Short-term surface cooling means next to nothing if the material warms up, the pad needs time to reset, or your dog just flat out refuses to lie on it. Now, before we rank the gear, we have to lay down a mandatory safety rule. A cooling bed is a comfort tool. It is never a substitute for shade, good ventilation, drinking water, or air conditioning. If your dog is panting uncontrollably, drooling heavily, vomiting, stumbling, acting confused, or showing unusually red or pale gums, the symptoms you're seeing right here, you need to move your pet to a cooler area and contact a veterinarian immediately. Absolutely no bed on earth can make a dangerously hot environment safe. All right, let's dive into this countdown. Coming in at number 5 is the FurHaven Cooling Gel Orthopedic Sofa Dog Bed. Think of this as your absolute comfort first option. It is specifically designed for an older dog, a really thin dog, or honestly any dog that just refuses to sleep on a flat mat or a firm cot. The foam core does an incredible job of cushioning pressure points, while those nice sofa-style bolsters support your dog's head and back. But when you understand the underlying mechanism here, you start to see a major limitation. Yes, the gel-infused top layer does help move heat away from your dog's body, but the cooling effect is incredibly mild. We're talking about the gel foam only reducing the sleeping surface temperature by roughly 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that can make a very noticeable comfort difference in an air-conditioned room, but let's be real, it absolutely will not provide high output relief in severe summer heat. So, diving into the numbers, fit and comfort scores a near-perfect 9 out of 10. That orthopedic foam and bolster combo is easily the most supportive setup in this entire ranking. Safety sits at an 8, ease of use at 7.5, and value at 7.5. Durability is a 6.5, purely because the exposed foam just isn't designed to survive destructive chewing. Overall, the FurHaven earns a final grade of B. You get some really genuine joint support, but that modest cooling performance definitely limits its use for extreme heat. Number 4 introduces a completely different technology, the Green Pet Shop Cool Pet Pad. Instead of a thick foam core, this pad uses a really clever pressure-activated cooling gel. That means your dog's physical weight literally starts the cooling action. There is 0 water to fill, absolutely no refrigeration required, no batteries, and no electrical cord for them to trip over or chew. It just provides active cooling for up to 3 hours. And that time frame brilliantly illustrates its major flaw. While it is extremely practical for travel, tossing in a crate, or just laying out on a tiled floor, it is not a true all-day cooling bed. Once that internal gel absorbs enough body heat, the cooling effect weakens until your dog actually gets off the pad. It physically requires a 15 to 20 minute recharge cycle with a 0 pressure on it. Furthermore, if you leave this pad in a hot room or direct sunlight, it acts like a sponge, absorbing environmental heat and losing its effectiveness much, much faster. Reflecting those trade-offs in our numbers, ease of use scores a massive 9.5 out of 10, simply because you can just wipe it clean and fold it up for transport in seconds. Fit and comfort is an 8, and value is an 8. However, durability drops to a 6 and safety to a 7, because sharp claws or a chewing habit can easily puncture that sealed outer shell. The Green Pet Shop Cool Pet Pad earns a final grade of B. It definitely delivers convenient, very noticeable short-term cooling, but the puncture risks and that required recharge cycle hold it back from the top spots. Coming in at number 3 is a bed that actually solves that exact recharge problem. This is the K&H Cool Bed III. Instead of relying on a pressure-activated chemical gel, this bed utilizes plain old water as a giant thermal reservoir to absorb and redistribute your dog's body heat. Water holds considerably more heat than a thin fabric surface ever could, which allows this bed to provide incredibly steady, sustained, conductive cooling, all without electricity. This makes it highly effective for thick-coated or flat-faced breeds who desperately need serious relief. But here is the major limitation: the filled weight. A large model of this bed becomes incredibly heavy and super awkward to move once it's fully loaded with water. You essentially have to choose its forever home before you even fill it, making it quite a bit harder to clean under or relocate between rooms. Weighing that performance, fit and comfort is an 8.5 because you can actually adjust the water level to dial in the support. Safety and value both score solid 8.5s as well, since it provides really strong cooling without any power cords. But ease of use drags it down to a 6.5 out of 10. The initial setup takes some real effort, and draining the bed at the end of the season is undeniably inconvenient. The K&H Cool Bed III earns a solid final grade of B. It delivers on sustained cooling, but it definitely lacks everyday practicality. All right, as we move into our top two, we are making a massive strategic shift in how we approach this. We're moving from stored cooling to continuous airflow. See, a gel or a waterbed can only absorb heat until its own temperature rises to match the room. But in severe heat, continuous airflow from an elevated bed completely outperforms those limits because moving air constantly carries that trapped heat away from your dog. And that brings us right to number 2, the Kuranda aluminum dog bed with outdoor mesh. What we have here is the undisputed durability leader. It features a heavy-duty aircraft-grade aluminum frame and an elevated structure that gets your dog completely off of hot concrete, damp ground, or heat-retaining carpet. Kuranda also brilliantly hides the fabric edges inside the metal frame itself, so dogs literally can't grab and pull on loose corners. Now listen closely, because here is the crucial detail you absolutely must get right. Kuranda offers several fabric choices, and they definitely do not cool equally. Their heavy-duty vinyl prioritizes Q resistance, but it acts like a wall and blocks air. For hot climates, you must choose the outdoor mesh fabric. The mesh allows air and water to move completely through the sleeping surface, providing that vital, consistent ventilation, even though it slightly sacrifices some of that ultimate chew-proof protection. When grading its performance, durability earns a massive 9.5 out of 10, thanks to that aluminum frame. Safety is a 9, ease of use is an 8.5, and fit and comfort is an 8. Value for money sits at a 7, simply because it is the most expensive product on our list today. It is totally justified for a large or destructive dog, but it's pretty pricey if your dog is perfectly calm. Still, the Kuranda earns a final grade of A for its exceptional lifespan and continuous airflow. So if the Kuranda is practically indestructible, why isn't it number 1? Well, because the absolute best cooling bed for hot climates needs to balance that continuous cooling with a highly accessible price tag. Taking the overall number 1 spot is the Coolaroo Original Elevated Dog Bed. It accomplishes exactly what it needs to without water, without gel, without foam, and without any complicated maintenance. It succeeds by relying on simple physics. The 8-inch elevation physically separates your dog from warm floors, allowing air to aggressively circulate underneath them. The breathable, high-density polyethylene fabric continuously releases heat instead of trapping it against their fur. Unlike a gel pad, you never have to wait for it to recharge. Unlike a waterbed, it never becomes a heavy boulder to move, and it won't leak on your floor. Plus, the powder-coated steel frame is super light, and when it gets dirty, you literally just rinse it off with a garden hose. Looking at the final tally, value for money and ease of use both achieve a completely dominant 9.5 out of 10. Safety scores a 9, durability an 8.5, and fit and comfort an 8. You're getting continuous, passive cooling, full outdoor capability, and solid weight support, all for a fraction of the premium price. The Coolaroo Original easily cements its final grade of A as the absolute strongest hot climate solution out there. So here is your definitive buying guide, matching the specific bed to your dog's actual needs. Choose the FurHaven bed only when orthopedic joint cushioning is more important than maximum cooling. Choose the Green Pet Shop Cool Pad if you need a portable indoor mat, something for the crate or for travel. Go with the K&H Cool Bed III when you want strong, sustained contact cooling and you can leave the bed in one stationary placement. And choose the Kuranda aluminum bed when your dog is extremely large or you absolutely need commercial-level durability. But for the ultimate overall balance, your final decisive recommendation is to buy the Coolaroo Original Elevated Dog Bed. It securely earns its final grade of A because that uninterrupted airflow continues for as long as your dog remains on the bed. There is absolutely nothing to refill or recharge, and honestly, the price-to-performance ratio just cannot be beaten. So which cooling strategy are you going to choose to keep your dog safe and comfortable on their next summer adventure? Remember, always score the gear before you spend, and make sure to hit subscribe to Pet Scorecard so you don't miss our next no-nonsense pet gear verdict.